A Utah County family made a spooky discovery just before Halloween, a plant that has ties to the Salem witch trials.
It's actually a fairly rare find in Utah. And as news specialist Mike Anderson explains, it's now just one of a few ties that family has to a difficult time in history.
In this remote part of Sanpete County on a piece of family-owned land.
In process of working on our property, we found this plant.
Hannah Stoddard picked up what looks like some wheat with darker pieces of grain.
Stoddard said she thought maybe it was some wild rice, something they could grow, harvest, and eat. Luckily, they checked first.
Historically, it's been the cause of thousands of deaths.
Dean Miner, a professor with the Utah State University Extension Office in Provo, says it's a wheatgrass infected with a fungus called ergot of rye.
Consumption of grain that's got ergotism is what they call it, can cause very erratic behavior in people.
And Miner says some historians believe that effect may have led to the witch trials in Salem, Massachusetts back in the late 1600s.
Part of their behavior, just acting erratically, doing strange things, that could have very easily been interpreted as witch-like behavior.
Luckily, the Stoddard family won't have to worry about that, even though Hannah says she did taste a bit of it before turning it in.
One grain.
But adding to the irony of this story,
The Puritans actually based their entire civilization, their entire culture on the Bible, on the Old Testament.
Stoddard teaches high school history and says she's studied the witch trials closely.
One of the principles in the Old Testament is that you always have a system of witnesses at trials, and they were not following those principles.
Oh, and did I mention that the Stoddards live in Salem, Utah?
A little humorous, I guess you could say.
But as far as the grain they found out here, having an eerie tie to Halloween, Stoddard points out
The Puritans actually refused to celebrate Halloween. It was illegal.
and her family doesn't celebrate it either. But there is one more coincidence in this story.
Our family, ourselves, we actually go back to some of my ancestors were there at the Salem witch trials.
Though aside from this history lesson, Stoddard says there is one more takeaway.
You don't eat everything you find. Just because something looks good doesn't mean it's safe.
Mike Anderson, KSL 5 News.